things you didn't know about Shaq.
What the hell?
And for number 20, there's no way you knew that Shaq is an MMA fighter.
MMA is the reason I became a champion. Because when I played basketball, it wasn't basketball, it was more wrestling. So when I trained MMA with John Burke, I came back in the best shape of my life.
Yeah, Shaq's 7'1" and knows MMA.
He's not allowed to do that. He's not allowed to be 7'1" doing that to people, bro. You're just not. Shaq,
That's
unfair.
terrifying.
400
But so is number 19. You probably didn't know that Shaq was 6'4" at just 10 years old.
When you were 10 years old, you were 6'4".
True.
Really?
Yeah.
That is not a child. That's a full-grown man. Well, look, what's even bigger than Shaq's body is his Twitter. Because of number 18, I bet you didn't know that Shaq was the first person ever to get verified. See, back in 2008, people were impersonating Shaq on Twitter, even going as far as using his name to scam. So to set the record straight, Shaq made his own official handle at The Real Shaq. And it helped, but there was still some fake accounts tricking people. So in June of 2009, Twitter came up with the ultimate solution, giving Shaq the very first blue check mark in social media history. Damn, this man Shaq changed the world. So did number 17, because I bet you didn't know that Shaq was supposed to be in the car with Biggie the night he was killed. See, in 1996, Shaq met a hip-hop icon, Notorious B.I.G., and they hit it off so well that they even recorded a track together called Can't Stop the Rain. And this song marked the beginning of a friendship. So on March 8th of 1997, 2 days after Shaq's birthday, Biggie wanted to celebrate, so he invited Shaq out for a night of girls, music, and partying. And Shaq was down, but had accidentally fallen asleep just hours before the party started, which might have just saved his life.
That saved bro's
white
life.
suit with the white hat and all
That goes
I was
on to
actually on my
prove.
way. I was dressed, ready to go.
Shaq says he fell
That
asleep
sleep
and never
helps
made
you
it to the
live, bro.
party. A call from his mother woke him up at 4 a.m.
She said, "Did you go to the party?" And I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" She said, "You know your friend was shot. It was a sad day for everyone. Sad day for everyone."
Man, I just feel bad for Shaq. That's rough. But so is Shaq's shooting. Because of number 16, you probably had no clue that during his entire NBA career, Shaq only made one three-pointer.
Oh.
One.
Yeah, I already knew that. Flash. Yes, sir.
Ooh, gotta give it to Shaq. That shot was wet. I mean, I'm starting to think he can shoot, especially after number 15. Because I don't think you knew that Shaq is a cop.
And you know, this was on my list as a youngster. I said one day I want to be a cop. So when I started pursuing that here in Los Angeles, like a lot of people would give me badges, and I was like, you know what? If you give me a badge, when I go out on the street, the officer's not going to respect me. So I made them put me through 2 different police academies, and I became a full-fledged reserve officer, level 1. Level 3 is
Shaq
security
be
guard
completing
status.
all
Level
sorts
2
of
is you
quests
have to
for
ride
no
with
reason.
another officer.
You
Level 1,
was in the NBA, you don't
ride
have
by
that
yourself.
here.
You have full-fledged police.
Now you a cop, you a 7'1" cop. Bro.
Shaq takes his duties seriously, because over the years, he's worked for 11 different police departments, serving as deputy sheriff, a U.S. marshal, and hell, he even became a detective.
Hi, I'm Detective Shaquille O'Neal, the Doral Police Department. Why I wear the badge? Plain and simple.
Bro, this has to be cap, bro. This is he's trolling.
All jokes aside, this man Shaq is a hero, but sometimes Shaq needs saving himself, because of number 14. I bet you didn't know that Shaq was almost eaten by a shark.
Topside, ABC. How's our boy looking down there?
A little nervous, but he's doing good.
Oh, Shaq and one. Oh yeah, they want you. They want you 7'1" in the car. They want you. I love to be in the water with Shaq. You know what I mean? Like, pause. I was about to say, like not at home though. Like in the sharks and all that in the water, and not at home. This has to be cat though. Bro, I know this is cat, but I just seen another movie as an actor, bro. that one dude in the movie,
Hey, slow down. Slow down.
21 Jump Street.
Now, Shaq might be scared of sharks, but number 13 is even scary, because you probably didn't know that Shaq started his very own Halloween festival.
I
That's
believe
me,
it.
Shaq.
Shaq just do
This year,
anything, bro.
I am taking over
know
Southern
he makes
California
money.
for my own twist on Halloween at Shaqtoberfest. Family-friendly trick-or-treating during the day, frightfully fun nightmare haunted trails, exciting live entertainment, and delicious food and drinks. Sorry about that.
I don't know what
Well, damn, never knew Shaq was this spooky. And I also never knew number 12 either. The fact that Shaq is an inventor. I mean, he's made the Shaq waffle maker, the Shaq grill. Hell, he even developed the Shaq shoe foam. But in 2021, he created his most brilliant invention yet.
Hey, America, you're going to love this.
Why is it so hard to boil eggs? They're either too soft, too hard, or explode in the boiling water. But now you can make a lot of eggs in a little time with the Shaq Egg Maker. It makes 14 hard-boiled eggs
What is
exactly
wrong
how
with
you
you
like
doing
them.
stuff?
You see the name Shaq, you know it's all that.
Yeah, ever since this thing dropped, it's been changing lives.
We're going to use our Shaq Egg Maker today. Okay, we got our 14 eggs in there, got holes in the top of them, and this is how it's supposed to look when you start making it.
Look at Shaq, man, changing the
Ain't no way
world.
that, ain't no
one
way
egg
that's
at a
like
time.
real.
But
Ain't
at
no
number
way you can
11,
buy that.
he was changing the
I'm
NBA.
just trying to hate. I'm
You
just
might
saying
not
I
have
never
known
heard.
that Shaq is the biggest prankster the league's ever seen. Like, he forced rookies to carry his bags, stuffed trash in people's cars, recorded diss tracks, he'd even tackled team trainers for no reason. But there's one
can't be-
prank
bro, you're
that
7
went
foot.
way too far.
You can't
I
do
want
it.
to ask you about this, and we can go into it if you want to talk about it. The little back and forth war between you and Lou Amundsen. So him and Lou
Who?
Amundsen are going back and forth. This motherfucker put Lou's mouthpiece in his tights for shoot around. Went through the whole shoot around, quietly puts it back up in his thing.
No.
But by the time the game comes around, you must have told people because more people knew about it. So Lou puts his mouthpiece in after coach talks, so we're about to huddle, and we
Hell
just.
no, bro. We fighting, bro. Heck, bro. If Shaq would have did that to me, bro, no cap, I would have made him wish he was in the car with Biggie. No cap. I would.
Ugh,
No, bro,
disgusting.
this dude
Well,
in
look.
my high school, bro. When I had just graduated, right? He used this one dude deodorant. Put it on his head. Put it back in the bag. In gym class, this was like freshman year, bro. That could not be me. I'm swinging on you every time. Every time.
We're in the top
Every
10
time I
now.
see you, bro,
That
it's
means
so
that you're
insane.
about to see a whole new side of Shaq you've never seen before. And while you might have known that Shaq is a terrible free throw shooter, you definitely didn't know why. See, when Shaq was just 11 years old, he was out climbing a tree, just being a kid, when, all of a sudden, a branch snapped, sending
But you're
Shaq
6'4"
straight to the
climbing
ground.
trees.
At that moment,
Get
Shaq
in
had
the
broken
gym.
both of his wrists. But the worst was yet to come, because after this injury,
The secret, bro, to why he can't shoot free throws. Here it is, right here, guys.
Shaq's wrist didn't heal properly. At that moment, Shaq had broken both of his wrists. But the worst was yet to come, because after this injury, Shaq's wrist didn't heal properly, making him unable to cock his right hand, and leaving his left hand permanently bent inwards. And according to Lakers coach Del Harris, this made it impossible for Shaq to have a proper shooting game.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, people like to clown the guy, but he went through it. And yeah, what happened to
Bro,
him
bro,
is
both
nothing
of
compared to
his
number
wrists.
9.
Couldn't be
Because
me.
you might
I'm
not
sorry.
have known that Shaq almost killed
Here's what
someone.
I would have did if I fell down the tree, bro. If I was climbing up a tree and the branch had fell, all you gotta do, hear me out, land on your feet, but also bend your knees and do a front flip, and then you land on your feet and hands, and then you're safe, bro. Like you won't break any bones, bro. Even if it's
See,
like
when
1,000
Shaq was
feet, bro.
growing up, he was a completely different person. Well, Shaq was a bully. But one day, he took the bullying to a dangerous level.
I was always a bully until one day in 5th grade, I had a spit wad. I threw it at the chalkboard. It splattered. this kid rats me out. But prior to that, my father said, if you get suspended again, I'm gonna kill you. First I go to the office, 3 days. So now I gotta go home.
You're suspended for 3 days.
Suspended for 3 days. So now I gotta go home. I already know what I'm getting when I get home. But before I go home, I'm gonna whoop your ass. So I'm beating this kid up, and I'm kicking this kid, and he has an epileptic seizure. It's just me and the kid out there, and he's on the ground shaking. Now I'm frightened because...
See, it takes a real man to admit that. I personally wouldn't, but that's, it takes a real man to admit that he beat up a kid that get epileptic seizures, Yeah. He was 6'4" at the time, they said. This kid is probably, I was 4'11" in 5th grade. I'm 6'1" now. So he's probably beating up like a 4'11" kid.
Oh. So then the guy comes and he saves the kid. And, but after that, I go home, I get disciplined. My mother pulls me to the side and said, "You're too big and too strong. You can't ever do that again." And that kind of stayed with me. I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. So then I was like, I'm not going to beat people up. Let me go to plan B on how to get them to like me. Because I was always a class clown, funny guy. So now let me just, do this a lot to get people like me.
That must have been like awkward.
Stuck with that rather than being a bully.
Man, good on Shaq. He really got his act together. Which brings us to number 8, because I bet you didn't know just how generous Shaq really is.
Whenever I go to a store from now on, I'm buying somebody else something. Period. All right, grab your bike. Make it quick. Every day I leave the house, I gotta bless somebody. I can't keep all this. Ooh, mongoose. I had a mongoose when I was little. Damn.
Well, you was never little.
Mongoose, cuz? All right, get it. Hey, listen to me. Don't take nothing else from no strangers. Yes, sir. All right, let's roll.
Yeah, from bikes to laptops, even bought a man's engagement ring. This dude Shaq is like the Mr. Beast of the NBA. But hey, Shaq is used to spinning big. Cause for number 7, you probably didn't know that his entire life is custom made. See, with Shaq being 7'1", you can't just go to a random store and find stuff that fits. He has to have everything customized to his size. From shoes to bikes to cars. I mean, damn, the guy even bought a custom bed that's so big it fits 50 people.
Do you still have the biggest bed in the world? Remember that thing we talked about?
Yes.
It's Orlando, right?
I don't think that fits 50 people.
And how big is it?
It fits 50 people.
50?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
I want to jump on Shaq's bed, but what I don't want is number 6, because I don't think you knew that Shaq made one of the worst video games of all time. Back in 1994, Shaq released his very own fighting game called Shaq Fu, thinking he'd make waves in the gaming scene.
Join Shaq in the fight against Seth Raw and his
Bro, Shaq been doing side quests since he was young.
Kick into action in Shaq Fu.
But this game was a total flop. Because not only did critics give it a 2.9 out of 10, but people hated it so much that someone launched a website dedicated to destroying every copy of the game in existence. Damn, Shaq Fu might be bad, but this is just weird. But hey, Shaq's got more important things to worry about. Cause for number 5, there's no way you knew that Shaq is an actual doctor. See, in 1992, after 3 years of college, Shaq dropped out of school for the NBA, and despite choosing basketball, he promised himself that one day he'd go back and finish where he started. So not only did he take some classes while he was in the NBA, but in 2011, after retiring, Shaq returned to college and became Dr. Shaquille O'Neal.
Dr. David Coppola, Dr. Shaquille O'Neal.
His name's Dr. David. Wait, what?
To college and became Dr. Shaquille O'Neal.
Dr. David Coppola, Dr. Shaquille O'Neal.
Bro, Dr. David Dr. Shaquille O'Neal, bro. You know you paid the teachers off, but
it is my number one accomplishment.
Would you trust somebody with broken wrists?
I didn't think I could do it at first. For the children that look up to me, for a guy that went to school and stopped and, wants to continue his education, I want to be the one to set an example.
Man, after an achievement that big, Shaq should be proud. But what he should be ashamed of is number 4. Because I don't think you knew that Shaq has the ugliest feet in NBA history.
Come on.
Oh, God, what the hell? Oh, I'm sorry. I got...
Bro.
Guard your eyes.
Sorry, them Fred Flintstones, baby.
Yeah.
Yabba dabba doo.
Dead man.
Oh my goodness.
The other one. You got it painted.
Start the music. Start the music.
Ugh, someone needs to get this man some lotion. But alright, dog, we've hit the top 3, so we're about to go deep into Shaq's life. And first, I doubt you knew that Shaq has sold billions of dollars worth of shoes. And it all started in the 90s when Shaq signed the deal of a lifetime, an endorsement with Reebok
I thought Shaq
worth
fell off
$40 million.
when
And
I was
over
a
the
kid.
next few years, Shaq swept the kick game off his feet, selling signature shoes for up to $300 a pair. But there was one big problem.
Shaq was
I had a Reebok deal, 40 for 5. And I'm leaving the arena one day, and this she's ripping me a new eye. You mother charging these babies all this money for the shoes. So I had like a $2,000 in my pocket. I was like, ma'am, I don't make the prices. Here you go. And she smacked the money in my hand. Why don't you motherfuckers make a shoe that's affordable?
Yeah, and after this confrontation, Shaq knew he had to make things right, so he started scheming and came up with a brilliant idea.
And I thought about it. And I was like, you know what? She's right. So that day, cut ties with Reebok. Started my
That
own
day?
brand. Yeah, that day. Told
What do
him,
you
I said,
define cut ties?
I told him, I said, keep the money. This ain't right. Don't want to make it no fight. I'll still wear the
but this
shoe that I
everybody
wear
like Shaq.
during the season, but I'm going to be looking to do my own thing.
This is why everybody likes
And
Shaq,
I
man.
went to my favorite store, Walmart,
But
and we did a deal.
nobody
And
wears shoes.
I was in all
I
stores.
I don't think.
And my price
I
point
can't
for the
remember
shoes
a lot
was
more when I was a
$29
kid,
and
but
$19.
I can tell you this.
And since then, we
You
sold
gotta
over
respect
400
that.
million
This shit
pairs.
got a lot.
400 million
Bang.
pairs of Shaq shoes. That's over $4 billion in revenue. God damn!
You said what?
Shaq shoes.
400 million pairs.
400 million pairs of Shaq shoes. That's over $4 billion in revenue.
See, like I said it before, you gotta be a good man to do that. But $4 billion
God
sounds
damn! This man Shaq is a
nuts.
genius.
And
Like,
obviously,
I don't think there's a single thing this man can't do. I mean, and number 2,
You know what I mean?
he even became an
But still.
award-winning producer. In 2021, Shaq learned that there was a woman that was drafted by an NBA team, Lucia Harris. And he was so inspired by her story that he decided to executive produce a documentary on Lucia called The Queen of Basketball. And this documentary was a hit. It's at the 2020 Academy Awards. Queen of Basketball won Short Documentary of the Year, making Shaq an Oscar-winning producer. Man,
Bro, what is
got
Shaq be
movies,
doing?
video games, music. Shaq really has done everything. Well, everything except number 1.
He can't swim.
'Cause I don't think you
Come
knew
on.
that. The one thing that Shaq doesn't do is drugs. Because growing up, Shaq's father figure was a drill sergeant. And he made it his mission to keep Shaq in line.
Bro, ain't know what to
When I
do
was
for that
young,
number
I
one
used to
spot.
get punished for every athlete's mistake.
If you made a mistake,
No, if a professional athlete made a mistake,
then you would get punished.
yes.
What do you mean?
Because my father would always come in and start my discipline off, if you ever.
Oof.
Right. So, if you ever hit a woman, I'll kill you. Go to the room. The worst spanking I got ever was Lynn Bias. You know what Lynn Bias is? So my father came in fuming.
I know Lynn Bias, and I'll tell you this. No kid should get whooped for what Lynn Bias did. Alright?
He had tears in his eye. So when Lynn Bias passed away, if you ever do drugs, I will kill you. And that's why I don't do drugs or drink.
Yeah, and that mentality kept Shaq in check. So as he got older and turned into a basketball phenom, he didn't let the perks of being a star ruin his life. Instead, Shaq kept his nose clean and became one of the richest, most iconic players in NBA history. Damn, I got nothing but respect for Shaq. The man's a GOAT, but he's not the GOAT. No, that is Michael Jordan. And this dude has hit some of the craziest plays of all time. I'm talking monster dunks, or the most insane game winners ever. Hell, he even hit home runs in the MLB. Oh, you want to hear more? Well, then click this video right here. These are the top 20 plays of Michael Jordan's career.